Oh no, the Bermuda Triangle! Even thinking the name made him stiffen and catch his breath. I warned them. Both Dad and Mr. Wilson are just too scientifically orientated. That's all. Superstition, was it? What are they thinking now? Whee! I'm flying! Tracy must be coming along, and it sounded as if she was enjoying it. Kevin let his breath out slowly, only then realizing that he'd forgotten to breathe. The streaks of light became wider and more frequent. He stopped with a jolt. He was sitting on solid ground in a small oval clearing with a wall of bushes all around. What on earth happened, Dad? Jason asked in a shaky voice. There stood Jason, as tall and well-built as ever, but definitely not his tidy, controlled self. His hair looked as if it belonged to a porcupine. His brown eyes were about 3 times their normal size. His clothes were disheveled, and the life jacket that he hadn't had time to put on hung from one limp hand. Maybe we're on Mars, exclaimed Tracy, her hair bouncing and her big brown eyes sparkling. Don't be dumb, Jason snapped. There's no way we could travel to Mars in such a short time. Don't you realize that Earth and Mars are separated by 35 million, varying to 63 million miles of space? How could we have breathed? Did you think of that? Spare the lecture, Tracy cut in. Are you okay, Dad? She asked as she offered her dad a hand up. I think so, said Mr. Wilson, but I've certainly never experienced anything like that before. How did we get here? Maybe it was a tornado and we're in Florida or Georgia or something, suggested Jason. Kevin was very relieved that at least he wasn't alone. But where was his father? Dad, Kevin called, jumping to his feet. Dad, have any of you seen my dad? He was in the water, Tracy began. Fear settled in Kevin's chest and threatened to stop his breathing. Dad! Dad! He shouted. Yes, he'd been in the water, behind the boat. Maybe he didn't land right with us. Kevin dashed into the bushes. A heavy, sweet odor choked him. Large thorns scratched his arms and tore at his clothes. The bushes were so thick he could only see a few feet to each side. Still, his dad did not answer. Maybe he'd been knocked out when he landed. Kevin struggled back to the clearing and dashed towards the other side. Wait, Kevin, Mr. Wilson said. Where is he? Which way is behind us? Kevin blurted out. And without waiting for a reply, he went crashing through more underbrush. Nothing. He turned again and scrambled back to the clearing. This time, Mr. Wilson caught his arm. Stop, Kevin, he said sharply. You're not doing your father any good by tearing around like this. Now, all of you listen. Since we're not sure where we are, we can't know what we'll face while we're here. Dad, interrupted Jason, you sound as if you think we're on some other planet too. I don't know, Jason. That's the point. None of us knows. So as I was saying, we must be prepared to meet anything. Just remember, each one of us has his or her own strengths. If we all contribute our strengths and work together, we can meet anything. As Mr. Wilson talked, Kevin kept peering here and there at the surrounding bushes. Which way should he look next? First, we must see if Ken is nearby, continued Mr. Wilson. Kevin's blue eyes focused on him and held. There are better ways of searching than running helter-skelter through the brush, Kevin. Mr. Wilson's matter-of-fact voice and practical advice had a calming effect on Kevin. Jason and Kevin, walk about 10 feet apart and search the area on that side of the clearing. Tracy and I will search this side. And Kevin, he added, I don't think you'll be needing that life jacket. Tracy and Kevin quickly removed their life jackets, leaving them where Jason had dropped his, and then the two boys set off as directed. More aware of his surroundings this time, Kevin noticed that the bushes were loaded with a small pear-shaped fruit, as well as bright red flowers that gave off a cloying aroma. Inch-long thorns accounted for his many scratches, and after about 20 feet, the bushes thinned, then stopped altogether. Immense trees, 200 feet tall, towered overhead. "Hey, this is more like it," said Jason. "Dad!" shouted Kevin. "Dad, where are you?" Silence answered. Nothing moved. "Where are the birds?" Kevin whispered, awed by the emptiness under the trees. "Don't know." "Oh!" said Jason, his voice cracking and jumping up an octave. Again the two friends moved forward. No branches held them back. The forest floor was a soft carpet of decaying leaves with little underbrush. "There's another thicket. I'll check it out," said Kevin. Jason stood back and waited, as Kevin knew he would. After all, he wouldn't want to risk more scratches and torn clothing if it could be avoided. Kevin struggled through the bushes to another oval clearing, remarkably like the one where they had landed, but this one was empty. As he turned to leave, a long piece of gray, weathered wood caught his eye. A hard tug broke it loose from the grass and soil that half buried one end. It was an oar. Kevin's scalp prickled, and the hair on his arm stood straight up. This proved it. How else would an oar get here? This is where people who disappeared from the Bermuda Triangle ended up. Heedless of the thorns, Kevin plunged back through the thicket to Jason's comforting presence. "Here, Tracy," Jason called as Kevin rejoined him. "Come on, Kevin, something's wrong." Tracy came flying to meet them, dodging trees as though she were on a football field. She kept yelling even after she saw them. "Jason, come and help! Jason, they took Daddy!" End of chapter 1.